Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Becky Lodowick, Director of Academic Affairs for the Center. I recognize that we are all in a time of great uncertainty and upheaval and trying to cope with a lot of change. For us, this includes adapting to increasingly online learning environments. I started out as an online student in 2002 and completed 2 degrees online. I clearly remember a lot of anxiety and uncertainty as I started that process. So I learned a lot along the way, and hopefully you can make use of what I learned. So I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for surviving and success in an online environment. So tip number 1 is be prepared. Familiarize yourself with your Canvas classroom and learn where your resources are. Do your part to understand what's expected of you and what resources are available to you. Read the course syllabus, check into the classroom regularly for updates and for guidance from your faculty. Have a dedicated study space. You may be able to study with your kids at the kitchen table. You may need a quiet place to read, or you may be listening to an audio lecture and find that that works for you. You may find you need a different study space for different tasks. Figure out what works for you and go with it. True confession, my study space was a closet. Tip number 2 is be organized. Use the course syllabus as your roadmap. Be sure you know the due dates for assignments, exams, and other time-based deliverables, synchronous lectures, discussion posts if you have them, and so on. Read your syllabus all the way through at the start of a course, and as you reach the end of a course week, preview the requirements for the next week and ask any questions that may have cropped up in the meantime. This will help reduce your anxiety as you come up against deadlines, and this leads us to tip number 3, which is have a plan. So know what you need to do to prepare for class just as you would for a regular face-to-face class. Break large tasks into smaller ones to make them more manageable and to fit them into your day. Try to determine how much time you'll need for a task and be creative on how you fit those in. I used to write responses to my discussion posts during my 30-minute lunch break, and I would post them to the classroom later. Once you know what the course requirements are, work backwards from due dates and set reminders on your calendar to help you gauge how much time you need to plan for study. If you have an exam coming up, set a series of appointments on your calendar in short blocks of time to focus on specific chunks of content instead of trying to use one long study session to cram it all in. That never worked for me. Anticipate when you will need additional time to test your equipment, such as for live lectures and other synchronous activities, so you are ready to roll at the designated time. You might want to block out time on your calendar for those things or just set up reminders. Usually 20 minutes in advance is a good window. Taking time to check your technology will really help reduce your anxiety, and it sets you up for tip number 4, which is to be present. Just as you would on campus, show up for class. Be intentional about your learning. Learning at a distance isn't easy. It takes self-discipline and consistency. If you have kids, you know they function better with structure. As adults, we need the same thing, but we have to create it for ourselves. At a time when we have control over very little, this is something we can control. To help you be present and visually show up, in addition to checking your technology, take some time to prepare for synchronous course activities such as video lectures. So review materials and key concepts and have any questions you might have jotted down. Practice your active listening skills. Ask questions, take notes. Research has shown there's a link between writing notes and the long-term recall of information, so this really will help you learn more efficiently and retain what you're learning. Lastly, preview and be mindful of your on-screen presence. Take a look, check and see what you're wearing. Make sure that it is appropriate for the screen. Check behind you. Make sure that your background is appropriate and free from distraction. We can see what you're doing or not doing, so just be mindful of that. Lastly, my final tip is to be kind. We're coexisting differently with each other. Practice patience, listening, support. Avoid assuming others know what you're thinking or what you need. You may need to have some direct conversations and figure out what works for everyone to help everyone get their needs met. Take care of yourself. Take time to care for your own well-being. Go for a walk. Take 5 minutes to stretch. And celebrate and reward yourself for the little victories. Lastly, maintain a human connection. Even though how we connect with each other is different, we're still a community. Right now, every one of us needs a little extra patience and support. Your peers, your faculty members, administration, our IT folks, friends and family. Extend support to others and ask for support when you need it. Talk to each other and to your faculty. Listen to each other and look out for each other. Remember, we're all in this together. Thanks for watching.